I made it. Hooray. Now I'm just going to get to the page where I can actually see people, or not see them, but I'm moving things around on my screen. I had such tech difficulties this morning, unexpected. Welcome the Mercury in retrograde, which I'll be talking about on Monday, July 30th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Hope you can join me then. Okay, so as I get comfortable with all the tech stuff and blah, blah, I'm here so that I can help you get your mojo back. Finally. So it's not even 11 o'clock yet, and already people are logging on. That's great to see. I'm just going to take a drink and get my screen ready for this live stream event. Thank you. And there's so many things to look at. We'll be going in depth. I'm just going to write a welcome. Welcome to my live lunar eclipse streaming event. What I'm going to do is open up another page so that I can actually see people. I'm gonna, this lunar eclipse photo that I have is by a man named Brian Goff, and he took intervals. This particular, the last lunar eclipse, he took photos every 10 minutes and then made a composite. It's pretty awesome. So now I'm just going to move me in. Hey, there I am. Hi, folks. And again, I've got a lot to look at on my screen. So if I'm doing this, I'm not having a spastic attack. Oh, I see some hearts, but I actually cannot see the comments. So that's what I'm looking for. And I may need to, I don't know where to go at this point. Okay. This is kind of funny, isn't it? The day that Mercury turns retrograde is when I have tech issues, which is my lunar eclipse experience. This is something people might want to pay attention to. Where do things happen in your chart? And I'm going to get to that in a second. As soon as I can find where the comments are to this page. Okay, hi Shasta. Now I see them. Okay, so we're going to begin. Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by. I'm Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo, and I hope you're feeling great and excited to be alive. We are talking about the lunar eclipse in the sign of Aquarius, which actually occurs on Friday, and that is July 27th at 4 degrees. But the North America will not really see this eclipse, and it's also called a blood moon because it's pretty intense. And so what we're going to talk about, that's Europe and the Middle East will get the bulk of this eclipse. So in the next 30 to 40 minutes, I'm going to be talking about the lunar eclipse in Aquarius at 4 degrees. And, for some folks who have Cancer and Aquarius planets in their charts, this eclipse will echo a great amount of transformation for you. But everyone is affected, everybody. Now, Leslie's here. Hi, Leslie and Sheila. That's great. I'm going to put my mister on because it makes me happy. And after this morning of 2 hours of trying to figure out what just happened, I was all ready to go live. And then what happened? I couldn't go live. And so this, before I even get into anything, I want to talk about how this eclipse will trigger an experience. And it triggered that for me. And anytime I have to deal with tech issues, I do my best to deal with tech issues. But I also have a mini meltdown. And oh, here comes my husband with thumbs up to tell me that he's here listening and supporting me too. Yay. Hi, Rachel. So this eclipse this morning was really challenging for me. It was I'm having a good hair day and everything's going great on my desktop. And then I tried to click the live button and I couldn't. And then I had 2 minutes of a master temper tantrum and my heart was racing. And I thought, why am I feeling so panicked? Not like this live event is going to save lives. At least I'm hoping it will, of course, but I don't think so. So then I calmed down and I thought, all right, let me go research. So I went to YouTube and I've been researching a program that I use called OBS, and it's a streaming device program that I use in my computer with Facebook so that I can do these events. And I'm new to it. And so I've been researching with OBS and what I can do. Right? So what happens is today I calm down after my 2 minutes and I say, just relax. I'm calling in all tech angels. They're going to help me. I, got my drink. I don't know if you can see it. I have my happy drink, vitamin water. And I thought, okay, now is the time to jump into the abyss, which is what I do. That's what I teach people, how to get out of the abyss, and when they're falling and flailing, what to do, how to grab onto something that's real and to make it count. And so now this particular event for me was to use everything that I know, that I teach people. And that is to calm down, number one, get centered, number two, and find out how to solve the problem. So I went to YouTube and I researched. There was a woman that I had not seen in the past 2 weeks in researching on YouTube, suddenly came up. I followed her advice and it didn't help. But she referred to this other article that I had read about 20 minutes ago. So I thought there's something in the article. So here's a tip number one, before I get into the actual talk. When two people or two sources give you the same information, it's called the truth, and they are unrelated to one another. So I got this information from this YouTube video gal and from this man who also does OBS and streaming, etc. And I kept digging and digging and I found the answer. Solution. Problem solved. Yay. So I rescheduled and here I am. 10 years ago, I would have had a meltdown. Oh, Shasta says she couldn't sleep at all. Well, this is going to be part of the talk and what to expect during this particular eclipse. So let's get started. Welcome and thank you for being here. All right, we're going to talk about how this eclipse affects you, and not just the lunar, but it's a combination. We're having 3 eclipses. Did I just count wrong? We're having 3 eclipses, 3. The July 12th was the Cancer eclipse, solar eclipse. The July 27th is the lunar eclipse in Aquarius at 4 degrees. And then on August 11th is another solar eclipse. We're having a sandwich. And that particular combination of eclipses brings up stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about. So when I talk about this particular eclipse, it's going to be both financially and emotionally beneficial to you. Now, it may not feel good, but it is beneficial. So if I keep turning my head, it's because I see things pinging on my screen, and I see Carol joined. Hi, Carol. And Rachel. Hi, Rachel. So this particular eclipse is in effect. In fact, it's already begun. The energy has already begun. Now, again, depending on what you have in your chart, will tell you or tell me, if I'm doing your reading, how long this eclipse will last and what exactly it will trigger. If you'd like to book a session, it's on my Facebook page, right under the banner, There's a book now link. You can click that and at any time during this talk or after. And if you're as I'm doing this live, if you're watching this as a recording, you can also go back to my Facebook page and click on the book now link. And I can do a very in-depth reading for you about all three eclipses, not just the lunar. Now, whether you're looking to feel better, increase intuition or have more confidence when it comes to making crystal clear decisions that affect you on all levels, especially with emotions and finances, especially if you're a woman, because that seems to be a big issue for women about making really clear, conscious decisions on that level. The lunar eclipse will cast a glow on certain parts of your life dealing with business. Now, I'd like to help you get your mojo back. So I am going to be taking questions. Someone says, yes, I do feel it. And someone feels drained. Well, take care of your body, number one, in a lunar eclipse. It's always key. That's always important. And typically when eclipses occur, and I talked about this in the solar eclipse live streaming that I did. Now, if you did not attend or see the replay, that's fine. I'll just go over a little bit of things so you can understand how they work. Typically, eclipses work in pairs, and that's 2 weeks apart every 6 months, the solar and the lunar, or the lunar and the solar. And then just like 2 weeks ago, we had a solar eclipse in Cancer, and 2 weeks from now, we will have another solar eclipse, which is not usual. It's usually just in pairs. But you'll get where the solar eclipse shines a big spotlight on what you're creating. The lunar eclipse casts the glow on the more unconscious, more emotional, the parts of you that are not allowing yourself to receive. So that's important. We're going to talk about that. So in general, in the eclipses in the metaphysical world is considered, the solar eclipse is considered masculine, and the lunar eclipse is considered feminine. Now, what this can do and how it vibes with you is that in the solar eclipse, between now, early July, actually late June, and through September, an actual man can have a great impact on your life. Or your masculine side can start to become more proactive. And the feminine aspect is related to the lunar eclipse, and that can also be a woman in your life. It can be your feminine side if you're a man. It can be friends, family, children, strangers, or someone from your past, since we're having 5 retrogrades. Now I'm going to be doing separate live streaming events dealing with the retrogrades, and on Monday, July 30th, I will be talking about Mercury in retrograde, and that's going to occur at 2 p.m. tech issues aside, 2 p.m. Pacific time, and that's, what is that, 3 hours, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so now back to the eclipses. When there's a solar eclipse, you can actually witness the culmination of your past endeavors, what you're manifesting. Now, because the eclipses work in tandem, the conscious and the unconscious, the masculine and the feminine, and also what you've been doing on all these levels. How are you manifesting things? What is it that you want to create? And Joanna says, I've been feeling very emotional and mentally exhausted. Yeah, we're going up and down. And this is what I explained to our daughter, who is an Aquarius rising sign. And this particular eclipse falls directly on her Neptune in the 12th house. And if you're familiar with astrology, you're gasping right now. If you're not familiar with astrology, Neptune deals with karma and also the illusion in life or disillusionment. And it being in the 12th house, which is the emotional aspect of your psyche, the self-sabotage, also your divine connection. And my daughter has been, riding a wave. And so she's also a Cancer moon. So she's feeling both of these eclipses intensely. So what I described to her, and also to a client I did a reading for the other day, was there are constants. Here's a constant. Well, you know it's real. And then these eclipses will do this. But when an eclipse, and so you're not too attached to it, but when an eclipse is actually falling on a planet in your chart or on a sun, rising, and moon in your chart directly, you're going to feel it much more intensely. And so what I recommended to my daughter, I said, because this is bringing up past life experience, not just now, you're going to have strange thoughts, weird dreams, experiences that have nothing to do with today, your world, what you've already created. And they may be random and very bizarre, being chased, murdered, killing someone, or actually creating something magical that you wake up and think, did that just happen? Is that real? And so you know, and she's been saying just she's feeling very disillusioned when waking up, and she looks a little tired. So take care of your body. It's really important that you take care of your body. And Karen says, on point, but emotional for me. Yes. And so with these emotions that are, and lunar eclipses will always bring up emotions, and sometimes it's high. You know, I saw my husband yesterday. I woke up exhausted and frustrated. My husband was perky and happy. He's an Aquarius moon, and he's, yay, hi, what can I get you? You know, how you doing today? You want to watch a movie tonight? And I was like, oh, I need a nap, but I just woke up. So you're going to feel these things in different ways, but don't attach. That's the point. And I have to make this disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, nor do I attempt to play one on Facebook live streaming. But if you know your body and you know that there are certain minerals, trace minerals, hormones, or amino acids that can help you to relax, I use L-theanine, T-H-A-N-I-N-E, to take the edge off, and it helps me to sleep. And that's an amino acid. It's perfectly safe. If you know that your body does not do well on caffeine or on sugar, now's not the time to stockpile, right? Also, someone says, oh yeah, replying to someone else. Okay, I'm just seeing what's going on here, here, and here as I talk. So, as I said, a male can come into your life and act as a catalyst during the solar eclipse, and then a female can do the same in a lunar eclipse. So I want you to first understand the definitions of things. And if you are a man and there's no woman coming into your life, or no female person who's playing an extra role, it can be about your feminine side. And yes, you do have one. So let's just talk, and you may want to take notes or come back and watch the replay, because I want to give you some basis for understanding of what is actually happening. Normally, I tell people that in astrology, the planets do not make you do anything. We live in a cooperation. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that. It is a cooperation. And this particular set of eclipses is with the sun and the moon. And the sun and moon are not planets, but they do have a huge impact on who we are and what we feel and how we experience life. And when I think it was an astrophysicist I heard talking to Neil deGrasse Tyson recently, and I can't remember the exact date, maybe 500,000 years from now, something like that, the moon will be pulling back from the Earth to such a degree where there will no longer be lunar eclipses. So we are experiencing something in our lifetime, and in the next several generations we'll have the same experience, but in future generations, there will be no eclipses. They won't be able to. The sun and the moon and the position of the Earth, the moon used to be right on top of the Earth, a lot closer than it is now. And, you know, the full moon in the sky was huge. Not now. So as it pulls back, we are still feeling tides begin to change, and we're approximately 70% water. So we feel these things. We feel the ups, the downs, the waves, the, you know, inconsistencies in life. And then we get a little thrown off axis. And so that's why I want you to understand what the lunar represents and what Aquarius represents, so you can apply this. And again, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see the Book Now button under the banner, and you can click that at any time, and we can book a private session. Okay, lunar represents, you might want to take notes if you're not familiar with astrology. Lunar represents feminine energy, an actual woman or a child in your life, real estate matters, Isn't that interesting? Emotions, and that includes the ones that you have stockpiled or forgotten about or denied. Finances, writing, and the flow in your life and how you allow abundance into your life. That can also mean finances. Also, the lunar represents releasing what no longer serves, which is important to note. And depending on the sign and degree of the eclipse, you might undergo a series of awakenings regarding your body, mind, and or spirit. And this particular lunar eclipse is in the sign of Aquarius. And again, you may or may not have planets in Aquarius in your chart. You're still going to feel this. You can't hide in a closet during natural celestial events. Now, Aquarius represents humanitarian efforts, eclectic, rebellious, or unusual behavior as well, but also tyrannical attitudes or condescending attitudes or removed emotionally, distant, yet globally connected and committed. Aquarius also represents higher technology and astrology, of all things, astronomy and outer space, as well as the lunar representing inner space, and then Aquarius is outer space. Now, the motto for Aquarius is I know. And its negative conscious or unconscious chatter is there's not enough to go around. So we want to flip that. We want to flip that saying into something more positive and start believing that there is enough of everything to go around. And what's interesting, I have a client who is an Aquarius moon and an Aquarius rising sign, and he is a real estate investor. And he had been out of the business for a while doing some training programs, and then decided when we had our last session, he decided to reinvest. And something came out of the blue, okay? And I said this in the solar eclipse recording, nothing is out of the blue. Your unconscious self and your subconscious, non-conscious self is all shades of blue. He had a property from way back, and now it's come back into the limelight of the person wanting to refinance and maybe selling. And so my client had asked me, is now a good time to do this? And I said, now is a great time to assess all the information, make all the phone calls, get all the paperwork in order, because we have 5 retrogrades. Things might be more delayed and they may not feel as potent as when they will settle down in September. I'm not saying don't do things. And I said to my client, you have to trust your gut on this. And if you feel that you're ready to renegotiate or sell the property, then you have to have all your ducks in a row. That's it. So for this person, it related to real estate and also to a woman that he needed to renegotiate with. Now, as I said, that a woman or women in general in your life become more relevant during any eclipse, and it can be someone who is no longer in your life, but yet the memories come back or echo something, or you start thinking about a person that you used to have a relationship with, a friendship, maybe it was a relative, maybe they've passed on, maybe they just moved on to, live their own life. And sometimes the conversation starts in the head and then the chatter starts. And you go over conversations. Have you done this? Okay. So I was talking to my daughter about this the other day because she talked about a friend that she used to have in high school. She's now 19. And when she was a sophomore in high school, she had a friend who was kind and then abusive, and then kind and then abusive. And my daughter was reeling from trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? Did I do something? And then she finally worked out the relationship and realized that this person had issues. And she said goodbye, which was a healthy thing. So recently I said to her, well, Aaliyah, with these double eclipses showing up in your world, how do you think this is going to play out in your life? And she said, I don't really know. I don't know if I can answer that, but I'll tell you, I keep thinking about my friend in high school, and I keep thinking about my current friends. And sometimes I find myself getting defensive with my friends now as if they were this other person, this friend that she used to have. So she's reacting to her new friends as if they were the old friend. And I said, well, that's key. And that's really powerful because now you have the ability to work it out. Now you have the ability to realize what is past is past. And I want you to do the same thing. I want you to write down if there is a woman, my phone is ringing. Okay. Well, thank you to my husband who picked it up. See all the tech issues that can happen in a retrograde, which I thought I unplugged my phone. Anyway, I want you to take a look at everything that goes on in your life right now that is repetitive, that is recurring. And if it deals with a woman, a friend, someone who said something, a boss, a coworker, someone who's passed on, think about your relationship to that person. You cannot go back in time, but you can create new neurons in the brain now that can sound louder, 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 and overshadow the negative chatter. And this is what I recommended to my daughter. Stay as much as you can. There is a length of rope of emotions in you, and it's going to want to do this. So as much as you can, go from negative to neutral by breathing, meditating, knowing what your issues are, writing about it. Now would be a great time to have counseling, book a reading with me, do yoga, anything that helps you to connect body, mind, spirit so that you know what's real. This is the basis, the foundation of you, and everything else is just going to do this. So you ride the highs, the lows, but what's real? What is really real? This is what the lunar eclipse is asking you. And using vibrational healing techniques and technology is also going to help you, because it being in Aquarius, higher technology, astrology, understanding your patterns, any kind of pattern creates a repetitive theme in your life. And this is something that is mind-blowing. When I learned this in astrology, I found out years ago that, because I loved looking at what the eclipses represent and how they can help you to fast track your life and overcome issues. So if you're using the Aquarian energy, that would be vibrational healing, that would be higher technology, using a computer, finding chat rooms, people to commiserate with, but not to stay stuck in the chat, but to realize what's repeating, what's happening over and over again. And this is what's really cool. Eclipses also repeat. Now, I want you to think back right now and start to ponder. Think back to July, August, and September, approximately, of 1998 and 1999. Who were you? How were you feeling? What were you doing? What was going on in your life? What was more important? What was the biggest ahas? What were the toughest times in 98 and 99? Then again, in 2008 and 2009, what was going on? And then now, 2017 and 2018. These eclipse pairings were all lunar eclipses at that time: 1998, 99, 2008, 9, 2017, and 18. And hang on, I'm just going to take a drink. It's a little dry out here. These eclipse pairings happen over and over and over again. Now, this is the completion of a phase or phases. This particular lunar eclipse in Aquarius. We won't see another lunar eclipse in Aquarius until, let me look at my notes, 2027. So that's quite a while from now. And during this time, as you live and create your life consciously and unconsciously, you'll note the themes that are repeating themselves. As an example, in my chart, Aquarius falls in my 12th house in astrology. And the 12th house, again, deals with well-being, psyche, hospitals, prisons, connection to the divine, awareness, self-sabotage, healing, among some other things. And February 2017, where there was another lunar eclipse in Aquarius, I went to the hospital. It was sudden and I was fine, but there was this energy that just came in, and I thought I was having a heart attack, actually. And it was a muscle pull. I was at an amusement park, and then there was a tornado. So to stay dry and warm, which I didn't, I got soaked through, I was hunched over, which added to the muscle pull. And then I ate greasy food, and then that added to the indigestion. And then I went to the hospital because I couldn't breathe. And so that was last year in February during the lunar eclipse. And I'm not saying the eclipses are going to make you go to the hospital or make you do anything. It's going to bring up behaviors. Now, typically I don't eat greasy food at all. So that brought my awareness to, okay, relax, don't go to extremes, don't go hog wild with all the sugar and the treats at an amusement park. And if it's raining, go inside and go home. And I didn't want to. So I had to face my own patterns. In 1998 and 99, I was preparing to get pregnant, and it blew my mind to do that. I got pregnant, and it blew my mind to do that. And then I gave birth to a girl, female issue, in a lunar eclipse, who happens to be in Aquarius rising, who still blows my mind. So not just being pregnant and giving birth to my daughter, which altered my psyche, it opened up my consciousness. I was able to channel even more, and my intuition grew because of my experience. And yes, it blew my mind. So I want you to look back during these time frames, 1998, 99, 2008, 2009, 2017, and now. So between now through September, depending on your chart and what's in it by degree, you're going to experience some similar themes. What takes you back emotionally? How do you feel physically? These, wherever Aquarius winds up in your chart, it could deal with finances, it can deal with health, friendships, business, career matters. Lunar will always deal with your emotions and your ability to allow yourself to receive. And that has to do with making money. And so someone did have a question. I don't know if she's still here. It was early on when I was having issues, but I don't see the question now. So if you're back and you want to ask that question, and it was something to do with business, and I'm sorry, I don't see it now. Okay, so, well, Carol does have a comment. And if you've got any questions about the lunar eclipse, about your life, finances, emotions, please post them. I'm happy to help you in the few minutes that we have left. Carol says, wow, maybe my ex is thinking of me because I dreamt of him clearly 2 nights in a row for the first time in 18 years. I thought he might have died, but couldn't find an obituary. Crazy. Well, if you're tuned into your ex, the solar eclipse is still in play through September, and that is a masculine energy. And so you're having, I would say, a recurrence of not just the person, but what does the person represent, Carol? That's what you want to look at. If you're having dreams about something, I want you to write that dream down and break it down. It doesn't have to be literal. It may not be about the ex. It may be about your interaction with the ex. It may be about what that person's behavior was, and are you seeing it now recurring in your current relationship? So it may not be specifically about the person. Maybe the person is standing in as a symbol for what it represents in your life. Just think about that. So if you've got a question, I'm happy to help. And, as I said in the last talk 2 weeks ago, all metaphysical practices, astrology, numerology, clairvoyance, chakra healing, on and on. It's about you learning how to trust that you have power, that you are connected to something greater, and that energy is constantly moving. And you can grasp it, you can hold it, you can access it, you can ride it like a wave. And that's exactly what I'd like to help you do during the eclipse energy phase, because that's when the energy is the strongest. And that we're having 3 eclipses is telling me, the universe is telling us, okay, back up, go in, do what you need so that you can spring forward and really see results in your life, right? Wouldn't you like to see more results and happier results? You do have power. The ebb and flow is constant, and you're not separate. So let me know in the comment section if this info is helping, if it's helping you, and if so, I would like to do more Facebook Live events to help you get your mojo back. So let me see, someone has written, how do we find out where Aquarius is in our chart? Okay, the Aquarius symbol, well, first of all, Carol, I've done a reading for you. So when you look at your chart, I want to show you a symbol. I didn't think to actually put one up, but I will show you. I'll grab a piece of paper. What Aquarius symbol looks like. Can you see that? Okay, that's an Aquarius symbol. And when you see that, and what it represents is heavens above, earth below, the energy in between, electricity, water, and the currents of life. That is what Aquarius looks like. So when you see that symbol in your chart, and you'll know by houses, what does it look like? Where the first house represents the body parts, how people see you. Second house is finance, and self-worth. Third house deals with communication style and learning, training classes, or giving workshops. And communicating, where you communicate from the inside out first. Fourth house deals with your home and family life, real estate matters, family mostly, and your inner identity. Fifth house, creativity, romance, children. Sixth house deals with health and service to the world, possibly working at a job. Seventh house, family, relationships, but mostly marriage, clients, higher end clients, open enemies as well, if there are any. And the eighth house deals with joint resources, your money with others, taxes, insurance, estate matters, sexuality, your energy with others, death, sex, taxes, and this combination the ancients put together in the eighth house. Ninth house, travel, contracts, business, higher learning, education. 10th house, career, ambition. 11th house, your relationship to other people, groups, associations, your dreams coming true. 12th house is your psyche, your connection to the divine, and your emotional well-being. So that's the basic coverall. Now, Karen says, yes. Hi, Karen. And Tony, love these. Carol, so basically I shouldn't do any financial transactions. Well, if you know where Aquarius is in your chart, see what the topics are, what's recurring. Financial transactions, you know, if you're going to go out and buy food, go buy food. I wouldn't make any major purchases. I personally wouldn't during 5 retrograde planets and 3 eclipses. But if you have to, you have to. And get receipts, save them. Make sure you tape them to your refrigerator so you know where they are and you don't lose them. And always ask for warranties and guarantees. Now, just joining today, looking forward to your lives. Thank you, Jessie, I appreciate that. And Tony asks, what is involved in the offer you mentioned earlier and the cost? Okay, thanks for asking. If you go to my book now, it says book now, it's a little button, blue button on my Facebook page under the banner. It is a 30-minute reading, a private reading that I will talk to you about all of your eclipses, the solar in Cancer, the lunar in Aquarius, the solar in Leo, which is coming up in August, and it's $97. Typically my readings for a half an hour run about $297. An hour session is $497, but I want to help you and to get on track. So if all you have to do is click on the button and book now, and I usually go over time, don't tell. But I want to see that you get your needs met, and I want to see you get your mojo back. Don't you want to get your mojo back? Say yes. No matter what you do, whether you have a reading with me or not, say yes, you want your mojo back. And that mojo is gotten during times like this. So I would not specifically go out and make major purchases, because the inclination that I have every time Mercury goes retrograde, and again, the planets don't make you do things, but it's an inward phase. And what happens is, I personally go in and start thinking about, I get excited about new things. So I'll see something on Amazon, or I'll see a product and think it's usually a training product, and I'll see that and think, oh, I want to join that. I want to take that class. I want to take that course, and I will do that. I sign up for things every time Mercury retrograde comes, and I don't finish. And that's the thing about Mercury retrograde, but we're going to talk about that on Monday at that live streaming. And so I want you to just pay attention to your urges. Anything that feels extreme is not real. I mean, unless the burning's building and you're running. Yeah, I'm right behind you. But extremes don't usually relate to the truth. What is the truth? If you're feeling angry, express yourself in a healthy way. If you're feeling sad, don't deny it. Tell people, I'm sad. Talk to someone. Get help. You know, whatever's going on in this lunar eclipse is going to bring up things that, as I said earlier, harken back to 1998 and 99, 2008 and 2009, and 2017 and 2018. Now, as I am no longer in the mama mode of giving birth, I'm not going to get pregnant. I know that. So what's the next level of that? It's how can I help my daughter to be who they really want to be in this world? And when it doesn't deal with that, for me, this lunar eclipse in Aquarius, and again, this is the last series before 2027 where we have it again. What is it shedding light on in your life? Where is it casting a glow? And all the way through September, you're going to feel this. And no, Carol, you're not alone. You're not. And I know for a fact you're an Aries. And Aries tend to jump into things in a happy way sometimes, but sometimes without thinking. So before you jump into anything, before you purchase anything, think about why. Will you actually finish it? What is the commitment level? How do you want to achieve what you want to achieve by having a plan and lay it out on paper? And what was I saying? Oh, I hope I answered the question for Tony. Thank you. So if you would like to book a session, the book now button is on my Facebook page under the banner. It's for $97. All 3 eclipses are included, and I detail exactly what to do, what to expect, and how you can take back your power and step into that place of now where everything happens. Hang on, gotta take a drink. Okay, no, you're not alone. Yes, said another yes, thank you. I'm glad this is helping you. I'm so glad, and thank you for being patient with my tech issues. Now, I don't want to overwhelm people because I tend to talk. I could talk for hours until my voice gives out. So I'm going to keep these short, and we're gonna close now. I'll wrap it up. If anybody has a question they'd like me to answer, I'm happy to do that right now, but I'd like to wrap it up. And while I'm waiting for a question, I just want to say again, thank you so much for being here. I know this is a time, an investment of time for you, and I do appreciate that. My next live streaming event will be Monday, July 30th at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, where I will be talking about the Mercury in retrograde that's happening now. 10 p.m. tonight is when it goes into effect, but the pre-phase began 3 weeks ago, so we're already feeling it. We're already getting spaced out, happy, joyous, sad, delayed. Why don't they call me back? What happened? I just put my keys in the refrigerator. Why did I do that? All these strange and funny things that we do. Now, again, to book a session with me for only $97, it's on my Facebook page, the Book Now button. Now there is, oh, someone says, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is it Sai? In 1998 and 99? And then 2008 and 9, graduated from nursing school in 99 and had a baby a month later. I've been trying to get back to nursing after being a SAHM. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means, for 12 years. Okay, so stay at home mom. I think I got it. Oh, my daughter would be so proud. I got the acronym. Now is the time then. Now is the time to look at how can you pursue the thing that you started way back then? How can you gather your facts, figures, all your information, and then in September, moving forward in very actionable ways? Now it's gathering, it's intake, it's how do I feel about it? Let me take in the information. What do I want to do about this? So go ahead for that. And we're going to talk more on Monday with the Mercury in retrograde. Have a blessed, sparkly day, everyone. And thanks for joining me. And I will see you again on Monday. Be well.